The river are in flower now, and they look very, very attractive. There's quite a lot of willow.
New tree.
Yeah.
But all these, we're going to take them all out. We're going to winch it. And they go up with the reed. Hold on, go keep the picture. Up and make it a bit of a spark.
Colin was telling me that he and his brothers have put over 200 hours in this project of cleaning up the river and things. It's a marvellous job they've done. As we're going up the path here, we encounter the first signs of what Colin was doing it for the benefit of other people. Here are some people who've sidled up here on this lovely winter's afternoon, and they're resting now after their drive up the river.
Corey. I think I hydrate.
Well, the Mersey River here looks a lot different than the Mersey River at Manchester and Liverpool, doesn't it? You wouldn't Adam and Eve it, that's a fact. This really is a lovely spot. Beautiful trees. There. And there's a flying fox across the river. How do you fancy a trip all across on that, eh? Wouldn't that be fun? It's easily we decided to jump into the river when you got in the middle. It's a very beautiful native. It's known as a she-oak. Absolutely marvellous. Also known as a wild cherry. It's a member of the pine family, I think. Very pretty thing. We've come back to the walking track on the River Mersey, and you will be amazed at the amount of work which has transpired since we were here in October. All along the other side of the river they have been winching out and cutting down wattle trees which were blocking the river, and we'll see a little more of that work that's been done as we progress along. As you can see over there, the area which has been cleared of willows, and it was costing them $1,000 a day for the excavator to drag them out. Now that island over there was completely covered with willows, and like I said, they've cleared them all off, and what they've done, they've dug out this channel over the other side there properly so that it can be used by the fish as a spawning channel. The idea being to encourage the trout to come back again to spawn up here like they used to years ago. Several months ago you couldn't see this part of the river for the willows. Over here you have the top end of the island that they cleared, and the small canal they've got running down through the centre of it.
How much was it for that excavator, Frank?
Around there, that must be a fish.
Yeah, I was watching the fish jumping when I was waiting for it. I kept hearing this plop.
Magnificent now. I'm fishing instead of only wishing. I have a thing about gum trees. I think they're absolutely magnificent, and also reflections on the water. You know, you wouldn't think this was the same river. These swamp gums, this time of the year, look absolutely beautiful. This type of eucalypt, whereas the deciduous trees lose their leaves in the autumn, these lose their bark, and that's why you see strips of it hanging off like that. On some of the other trees, the stringy barks, you'll see lumps of bark like that up there, see, hanging off it. There's moss growing on the bark of the tree. Trees shedding its bark, like I told you, see, in great strips. One of autumn's little reminders, rose hips. They're not very far from the guide camp now, on the myrtle hole as they call it. I'm a real sucker for running water. Now that's an interesting little rock formation over there. And it seems to be all covered with moss. I'll see if I can get a little bit closer, have a better look at it. That's interesting. One of the many fungus that we find in the bush around here. They're quite high above the water now. This isn't the full flow of the river. As you can see, it's much reduced from where you saw it earlier on. Another island which as yet has to be cleared. And the river runs the other side of that. Now just look at that beautiful shade of green in this she oak. Isn't that magnificent? Thank you, Olwyn.
Simon's gone down to Warrawee, today he's calling Sheffield.
He'll be back for 2.
Gone for the day?
Yeah. So I can go for the day.
Yeah, when we went down to the Arthur River there were a lot there then.
See, the low is 40 cents when there's a lot, and he's got his massive 60 cents.
We've come back to the Mersey River. We're almost at the end of autumn now, and what we're going to do today is to continue the walk up around the top over the hill from the myrtle hole. The sun's shining, making dappled patterns on the grass. This time we're going to go the opposite way around from what we did before and come down onto the river. We're going up over the hill first, through this bush and then back to the river. You may wonder what this is. This is called heath. We have 2 types of native heath. One has these little red bells on them like this, and the other one, which we don't seem to have any of around here at the moment, is white. It's one of the native flora that grows in the bush here. We're heading towards the top of the hill now, and as you can see it's quite steep down towards the river and the bottom of the valley through the bush. This is a member of the acacia family. It doesn't grow bigger than a sort of a small bush, but you notice it has leaves similar to a wattle, and it has flowers similar to a wattle, but it never grows very, very big. You can see the leaves better on this one down here, look. This little green leaves with perhaps 20 fingers down each side. Full delicate leaves here belong to the she oak. Top of the hill now, and it's a slight descent now for a little way back to the river, and then it gets very steep as we go down the gully to the river proper. Down through the bush here you can see these green paddocks in the bottom there, the bottom of the hill, and that's known as the Big Bend. The Mersey River sort of sweeps around here in a big bend and then goes back over the other side of those plains that you can see there. We're quite high up here. Very soon we're starting to head downwards. That looks a little better down there. Now this old tree here, which you can see going upwards to the sky, He's pretty well bent around a bit. Now this one is known as a Eucalyptus obliquus, or to give it its common name, stringy bark. I simply had to wander off the track a moment just to take this picture of this beautiful heath. That's probably the tallest one I've seen since we've been out this afternoon. Very, very pretty thing. It's here that the terrain has altered a little bit, and the flora has altered as we descend now into the gully and back towards the river through the ferns, the small shrubs. Well, I don't know what this is going to turn out like because it's getting quite dark in here now, but those man ferns are absolutely magnificent, and I thought they were worthy of a picture. You see, it's a different type of fern again. There's all sorts of lovely ferns growing in the bush here. They're a pretty thing. This is one of my favourite subjects, moss. We used to have an apprentice when I was a boy. His name was Arthur Moss. We used to call him Amos. Or again, see, amongst these man ferns. They take hundreds of years to reach this size, you know. Magnificent things. Down towards the river now. In fact, I can hear the river from this point here. Well, this is self-explanatory. It's one of the many funguses which you find growing in the bush up here. Some of them are really beautiful, you know. This is another one that Alwyn has just located and drawn to my attention. That's very pretty. Once again, Frank's favourite subject, moss. Here we are now, we're back at the Mersey River in all its splendour.
Oh, yeah.
As you can see, it's getting late in the day now by the length of shadows that the sun's falling on the water. It must be getting close to 4 o'clock now.
Is that a little pocket across there, or is it where a creek comes in?
Dunno. Could be a creek through there.
There they are, mother and child. Well, we're now back at the Myrtle Hole, where we finished our first section of this film. And so, for now it's goodbye to the Mersey River until we get up here again. The next time will probably be October when the orchids are in flower. Now here's Colin hard at it, and Ron, his brother. Now this area here where they're working, you wouldn't believe it, it was about a foot thick in blackberries only a few days ago. And they're clearing all this lot, making a marvellous job of it. These are some of the trees that they've been cutting down in this area of which they've been clearing of blackberries. And this is the area they've done it. They've made a magnificent job of it. They're burning the rubbish. one of our natives, a platypus. I'm going to see if I can't get a little bit closer to him. This thing is going because I'm very nearly out of film. I've been out of film for about 2 minutes and it's still going. It's the same minutes, 0 minutes, 0 minutes. This is the weir that Colin and his brothers have done today, Ron and Philip, in an effort to keep the water back from light floods during the winter. A beautiful sunset. Once more I've come back to the Mersey River with the Latrobe Landcare Group, where they are celebrating this day by the planting of trees and having a barbecue and a general get-together. As you can see, it's a beautiful day again along the river here, and the reflections and things are absolutely magnificent. This really is a lovely spot. I mean, words are quite superfluous when it comes to a thing as beautiful as this. Where they've been clearing, as you can see from this area here, they have done a little levelling and sown it down in grass again. And you can see the new grass growing up along here. Tremendous amount of work has been put into this project. Bridges like this over gullies and steps around the place have all been constructed by these men. Another type of fungus growing in this tree here. The old beggars like me, these steps are an asset. It's more out of the gloom into the sunshine. Well, here come the workers, the people responsible for doing all this work. They've been for a walk up the river and they're on their way back now. Here comes another one. They've been for a lovely walk up the river.
We're going back for a cuppa. We're going out for a cuppa. Take it. Yep.
You boiling?
I'm sorry we can't stop at that one. I'm ready for a cup of tea too.
Well, there you go.
They've been planting trees all through this area here, which they cleared of blackberries just a few weeks ago. And farther up at the other end they've planted more of them. I think it's always a problem for these sort of things, and this is one of the ways in which they've been doing it. So some of the trees which have been planted today, and as you can see they've put sacks around them to protect them from the frost. At this point we must say goodbye once more to the River Mersey. Start of another project, and what I'm going to do is eventually I'm going to get these boys to tell us just what's going on here. Here's Mr. Ron Hedditch now. He's one of the principal members of the Landcare Group at Latrobe. Ron, tell us, what are you going to do with this next area here?
We're going to make a park area of it, mainly for cars in this area, clear all the undergrowth right through, right along the edge of the swamp here and up to the myrtle hole, so that we can have a parking area for our plates that we intend to put down in the bottom of the old pit down here over the road.
Oh, I see. Well, we'll have a walk over there later on in the day and have a look at this tip area that you propose to clear, where the lake is going to be. Thanks very much, Ron. last few days we've had quite a lot of excessive rain. First it's winter, so we can't expect anything else. And as you can see, what was the last time I filmed this a nice placid little river has now become quite a swift flow. It can be seen looking across the river. There is another island here of willow trees which needs to be removed. You can see now the excessive water coming through the trees on this island. Really the island, the river itself will be quite wide, as you can see looking across there, compared with what it is just on this little sign here. That's not a bad sapling, is it? This section here is part of a future project which will be started very shortly. Colin, what do you intend doing with this?
We intend to turn it into a lake, or a large water hole, and all the wattle to be cleared, and save some of these big gums by pushing some dirt back around and we'll take it out, and just clear everything out. It'll be a massive big hole of water.
And how far will it stretch up the river?
Well, John Reed did take a rough measurement of it one day, but it's around about half a kilometre long.
Right.
And probably at the widest point it'd probably be 300 kilometres across. 300 metres across, sorry.
Good heavens. So it'll be quite a fair sized lake when it's finished.
It should be, yes. We hope to stock it with some rainbow trout. Well, we hope to keep the fishermen out of it and turn it into a sanctuary. I don't know whether we're going to get much luck, but we're going to try.
Very good. This is part of the area which will become lake eventually. You can see the height that the original ground was, where people have been removing soil from those tussocks over there, those mounds of earth. That was ground level originally. And this soil pit, people have been using this as a soil pit for years and years and years. This area that we're walking on now will eventually become lake bed. But now then, Colin, did you say the water was coming in through here?
Yeah, there's a natural gully comes down through here. I believe it was the bed of the river at one time. And we hope to turn some water from the myrtle hole down through this gully and use the natural trees for setting and take all the understory out. And probably put some ponds up here where we can foster some fish and hopefully some of the freshwater crayfish as well. If it pans out the way we hope.
Ah.
There's some natural blackwood and some very good gums, as you could say.
Have to move up when it's Frank, and then it was thick as chalk, you know.
This is rather a beautiful fern. So one or two of them growing around here, you see. Marvellous areas, this.
Round through there and bring the stream through, probably down through here and follow this track down.
That's the original gully, is it?
Yeah, I believe it was part of the river.
I see.
It's all that alluvial soil and over thousands and thousands of years.
Who pays the surveyor? You got?
They're beautiful shades in these trunks. As you can see, the river is quite high now after the last few days' rain. The bank is normally at the other side of that little island. That's its normal flow, but as you can see, it's risen quite extensively in the last days. In fact, from what Brendan Owen told me, it's risen quite a bit in the last hour or so, because we've had quite a bit of rain back inland. This comes down from the mountains, from the Central Highlands, around the Kents in that area.
Yes, you can see.
This would be great for kayaking, wouldn't it? You wouldn't think that this was the placid little myrtle hole that we visited just a few weeks ago. Those trees are really magnificent. They'll be on the edge in the area of the new lake which is to be put in. Most of them will be salvaged. They'll try to protect those. The water will be down in this hollow over here, you see, down that area there.